Thank you, Mheshimiwa, karibu. Please be seated. My name is Nelson Makanda, and I'm the chair of this selection panel. Allow me to say that we are indeed grateful that you did apply for the position that we advertised, and congratulate you for being shortlisted for the same. We'll take a brief moment to introduce ourselves, then after that we'll come to you. Please, FCPA.
Good afternoon, Mheshimiwa. Naitwa Bwana Andrew Tanui, mwanachama wa chopo hili la uteuzi, na karibu.
Good afternoon. Caroline Kituko, a member of the panel.
Good afternoon. Adam Solo, a member of the selection panel.
Good afternoon, Mheshimiwa. My name is Nicodemus Bore, member of the panel. Karibu sana.
Nicodemus
Bore.
Good afternoon. My name is Fatuma Ali Saman, a member of the panel.
Fatuma?
The name Fatuma Ali Saman.
Good afternoon, Dr. Njuguna.
Afternoon to you.
My name is 𝐇𝐮𝐲𝐻𝐿, and I'm a member of the panel. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, Dr. Njuguna.
Good afternoon to you.
My name is Evans Misati.
Evans.
Evans Misati. A member of this selection panel, and we welcome you to this session.
Thank you.
So we want to give you some few moments, about 5 minutes or so, to introduce yourself. Let us know a brief detail of your profile, and why you think that this is suitable for the job you have asked for, to be commissioner at the IEBC Commission. And then mention if you have any honors or awards that have been given to you, and if you're a member of any professional group or society. Please proceed.
Thank you, Chairman. I'll be very brief because I believe you have my CV. I'm born and brought up in Kenya, and I've gone to school in this country. All my academic achievements through this country, or local universities. I've got diversity of knowledge at university level. Law, cutting across law, real estate, management skills, and so on. Experience after the university. I've been the chairman of the Institutional Surveyors of Kenya from 1999 to 2003. I've also been the chairman Mangu High School from 2001 to 2008. And I've been a member of parliament 2013, 2017. And I've served as the chairman of the council, Moi University, 2019 to 2025 January. And I'm currently the chairman of all former members of parliament from 2018 on welfare matters. And I think that's all. Regarding why I would want to join IEBC as a commissioner, I've gone through very nasty experiences, particularly 2013, where I won on party primaries, and I was given a certificate at 9 o'clock in the evening. And the following day at 8, it was taken away from me and given to somebody else. And I had to make a very difficult decision to run on another ticket. And you know, some of these parties where you are coming from is such that if you win on a particular ticket, you are guaranteed of the seat. So it was very difficult for me to decide to run on another ticket, and I did. And I believe I was about the only MP who won on another ticket apart from TNA in the whole of Central. That experience I would not want anybody to go through. And when you talk about free and fair elections, because that's the basis of democracy, I believe they start at party primaries. And you all know that party primaries in this country are just symbolic. They're just from my own opinion, and something ought to be done at that level. I think I'll leave it there. I'll leave it there, Chair.
What do you think needs to be done that your coming in will do?
I said, I know IEBC does oversight to party primaries. And I went through that process, including appearing before IEBC for dispute resolution. But I believe perhaps there needs to be more reforms such that IEBC can conduct those primaries, because that's the beginning of democracy. Yeah? And that's an area that is not adequately addressed, but I believe it should be adequately addressed, because I'm saying I have suffered. Even 2017, I suffered the same fate. My candidate, my opponent, been given ballot papers, and they confirmed later. So I might not have a lot of problems with IEBC, but personally I have problems with the way primaries are conducted in this country. It's about personalities, about who are you in relation to whoever is in that party and so on. And if you are talking about free and fair elections, from where I sit, it starts from party primaries. We are talking about democracy, from where I sit, start from party primaries.
Assume IBC was to do this. Who will resolve the disputes that emerge from party nominations?
It's just a suggestion.
Okay.
It's just a suggestion.
Yeah.
I would want that matter addressed because we all know what happens during party primaries. A lot of chaos and so on. No fairness. Yeah. But I'm saying perhaps it's a suggestion. I'm floating that perhaps that needs to be addressed because it's very unfair. When you are given a ticket in the morning, you don't have it. Yeah? It's very unfair. And I went through it.
Let's come back a bit on your profile. You mentioned a multidisciplinary skills. It would be nice for you just to vocalize those so that we are able to note them down for our own sake, kindly. But also there are many Kenyans who are following who may not have seen your CV, who will be interested in hearing who is this man looking for this position.
Okay.
Please.
I'm a realtor. My first degree was land economics. Even today, I practice real estate. So, and even when I was a chairman, Institutional Surveyors of Kenya, it's because part of that is in the Institutional Surveyors of Kenya. So, and I'm privileged because like last year, I got the Certificate of Excellence Award from Institutional Surveyors of Kenya, the highest recognition you can get from that professional body. They recognize my contributions to that profession. So, over and above that, I've done law from primary, from undergraduate all the way to PhD. And I practice law. I have a law firm with my son, who is also a lawyer. We practice together. And I'm also good alternative dispute resolution because I'm an arbitrator. And I'm also a court annex mediator. So I'm also a lead expert in environmental impact assessment and audit. So that type of multidisciplinary knowledge, I have it, and the papers are there. And I practice all of them. Yes.
Carol, please kindly ask some question.
Thank you, Chairman. Daktari, how are you? I am just keen to find out, in addition to party primaries, which you have identified as one of the areas that IBC, in your view, as not all party primaries have not been conducted in a fair and credible way, and you would propose IBC to get involved in the conduct of party primaries, I would like us to develop that further. We see how credible it is. Supposedly, IBC was to conduct party primaries. What measures do you think should be put in place to ensure that the party primaries outcome is correct, and what would be the role of the political parties? What would be the role of other political institutions that are involved in the electoral processes, the political parties dispute tribunal, that is what I have in mind, the courts, and the IBC. Yeah.
From where I sit, I said I'm a perfect example of the challenges of party primaries. And moving forward, even in 2017, you see the same repeating itself. So that's the challenge that perhaps needs to be addressed by AO reforms, so that that challenge is addressed adequately. You know, once a challenge is identified, it is possible to find ways and means of curing that mischief.
Okay, let's make guide you a little bit. We agree, party primaries are a challenge. The way they are conducted by the political parties. Now, with that understanding, what measures of reform are you suggesting to be put in place to improve the party primaries, you know, the conduct of party primaries? And number two, what is the role of all these other institutions in ensuring that those measures that you suggest are adhered to?
You know, once you identify the problem, and I believe even you, the panel, you agree with what I'm talking about. Oversight in these party primaries, whether internal or external oversight, is very important. The party's code of conduct should be such that if they are not being followed, then the owners of those parties can be disciplined accordingly, because they are compromising a very fundamental and core value of democracy. So, from where I sit, perhaps IEBC, there are reasons why, as of today, IEBC don't conduct, or although they can if requested. But in view of what we have gone through since 2013, 2017, 2022, it is important that we address that issue, because it remains a challenge. I don't have an answer, but through reforms, because that's part of the reforms that perhaps I would suggest. Through reforms, Chair, it is possible to cure that problem, because it's a real problem.
My concern was more particularly on the reforms, those reforms that you are proposing. What are they? And what would they, how would they address the challenge?
Like I would be very happy, personally, if IEBC was to take over the party primaries. Why? I don't seem to have very serious issues with IEBC. But I have serious problem with the party primaries. So how best can we deal with that party primary? Because that's the beginning of the conflict.
So if IBC, let's stop there. If IBC was to take over the conduct of the party primaries, we know it's the mandate of the IBC constitutionally to resolve disputes, right? Dispute resolution that emanates from political parties. I mean, as a lawyer, you know, you cannot be an accuser, you cannot be the judge, you cannot be the witness in the same cause. So IBC would be basically the one conducting, then coming down to resolve the same dispute about its conduct during the party primaries. So my concern is, what are these? It's an area that I hear you is has affected you personally. You're telling us your lived experience. But what do you propose? Should you become a member? What do you propose to resolve that problem? How do you intend to resolve it?
You know, even at IEBC level, in the case of disputes, particularly after elections, they go to court. There's a procedure of setting out disputes and so on. All I'm saying is that that's a gray area that requires reforms. And we need a conversation on that area.
Have you thought about the proposal, the reforms proposal that you can put in place should you become a member? We agree it's a problem. So what is in your mind? How would you intend to resolve this problem?
Reforms,
what measures would you want to
reforms
put
on
in
strong
place?
oversight on party primaries, whichever form it will take. A strong oversight on party primaries.
Okay, thank you. I wish you well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Dr. Koki, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mheshimiwa Wakili, I am looking at your reasoning for wanting to join the IEBC. And you are saying that you were treated, you had nasty experiences in 2013 and 2017. And you believe that IEBC should put in place stronger mechanisms for oversight. Now, you know, under Article 88, subsection 4D, IEBC does not have a mandate to conduct party primaries. What it does is it is to regulate the nomination processes. And regulating is different from conducting. But as you said, a political party can invite the IEBC to conduct that and to conduct the primaries. And also, from what you are saying now, and you served for five years, I imagine that even after that nasty experience in 2013, you got an opportunity with another party. And you have carried all that, you know, until now. And this is a driving force for you to go to the IEBC. Now, those 5 years, why didn't you do something? And it is Parliament that actually writes that legislation and gives IEBC powers to regulate, to do more oversight. That's number one. Number two, although you are not sure what you want to do, when you go to IEBC to address this issue specifically, I want you to look at the bigger picture. And political parties are key stakeholders in elections. Political parties, candidates, including independent candidates. I want you to tell this panel what you are going to do if you are successful at IEBC to actually not just oversight political parties, but within the current, of course, legal framework, but also to try to ensure that political parties, candidates, and their supporters adhere to the electoral code of conduct that you sign.
Okay. Dr. 𝐶𝐿𝐾𝐲, I would admit that I never spearheaded any reforms in Parliament. It was in that line, but in 2014, I had another experience when I lost a friend of mine in Parliament, and I was the chairman of the funeral committee, and I campaigned for the wife, only to receive a call from political prayers that I should keep off. I'm talking about political interference. So all along I thought free and fair elections. The cardinal principles of free and fair elections is that no interference, yeah? And candidates should be able to campaign. If you deserve it, you get it. Yeah? So I said, these are emerging issues. Yeah? And that's why perhaps we are here, you are here, to come up with a panel, a new panel for commissioners for IEBC and so on, so that these emerging issues, they are tackled or to the satisfaction of the sovereign. Yeah? So, once if I'm lucky to join the commission as a commissioner, yeah, I believe when we sit as commissioners and so on, yeah, collectively, yeah, we should be able to address some of those concerns, if it means liaising with the AG, if it means liaising with the Parliament, if it means liaising with other stakeholders, we liaise so that we can be able to install public confidence in this important public body, IEBC.
Thank you very much. Just out of curiosity, and Pole for the death of your colleague. When you received the call, did you abandon?
I didn't want to discuss it, but it's just coming as I'm here.
Yes.
That friend of mine, it happened that when we were given the certificate at Upper Hill, he was there. And he saw me getting the certificate. So the following day when I told him my certificate has been withdrawn and given somebody else, he was very affected. And he gave me part of his donation and he really supported me. So when he passed on, I felt the obligation to support him. And I actually supported the wife. And the person they were competing with only won in one polling station, where it was declared as having won 8,000 votes in one polling station. And I continued campaigning for the wife. So when I received the call, I just felt, I just felt, the way you feel, that I thought it was, in fact, I told whoever, I thought this is free and fair. And now I can see it's not free and fair. I'll keep off, but I am very sad about it.
Thank you very much. I just imagine, not for response, that if, as a member of parliament, you could be told by your colleague not to keep off and you agree to keep off, I wonder what would happen to the IEBC if you joined it. It's okay. I'm just wondering aloud. Thank you, Chair, and all the best.
Can I say, Dr. Koki, IBC is an independent body, only subject to the law, very properly anchored in law. So if you decided to listen and what have you, that is very wrong because your subject is the law.
Okay. Let's get FCPA to ask some questions, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Let me start by appreciating the many degrees our candidate has. 6 degrees is no mean feat, and congratulations. And also being a member of parliament. So, pongezi for those achievements. You are the immediate past chairman of Moi University. Is that true?
Yes.
And we are all aware, and we've been reading in the press. My question touches on governance. And there have been a lot of issues at Moi University. What is the role of the University Council? How does the University Council operate in as far as the governance of the university is concerned?
The council oversight is in charge of policy as per the law, policy on employment and policy issues. So just like perhaps the commission, the commissioners, policy and so on. But coming back to your question, and I think it's a good question, I think the issue of Moi University has been overblown from where I sit, because we have other universities with 22 billion, 17 billion, 14 billion, 12 billion. We only owed 7 billion. So there's been a lot of political interest, invested interest on Moi University, which is not right. And I would like to say, as much as we would want to talk about Moi University, Mr. Tanui, it's good to accept and appreciate that most of those issues were historical. Like Moi University helped establish 10 public universities. Like so.
No, I hear you. I'm looking at it from a governance perspective in terms of you are the chair, you're providing leadership.
Yeah.
And looking back at your tenure at Moi University, which was for 7 years.
No. 5 years.
5 years.
It did it for 4 years. 4 years.
You joined in 2020?
December.
You say 20 what?
19 December.
Yeah, 2019 December to 2025. So looking at your leadership and the responsibilities, the functions of the council, vis-a-vis now that of IEBC. So what is it, what have you learned from your tenure at Moi University that you think will be of value or not of value to IBC?
IBC is a constitutional commission anchored in law where your tenure for 6 years is protected unless otherwise dictated by law and so on. More university, they can evoke, they can political interference and so on and so on. The greatest problem in our public universities is underfunding. This country cannot support 40 public universities. And that's from where I sit.
And even for your information, IBC also, one of the challenges that they normally face is funding.
Yes.
Yes.
So it's good to talk about it. Like during my time there, because of underfunding, we had decided to do projects where we could generate income, like hash avocado, like apple farming and so on, because we realized whatever we are having, the biggest challenge was underfunding. Yeah. So we have to think outside the box. How do you sort out the problem? Yeah. Our student numbers went down from 50,000 to 20,000. Yeah? So in whatever funding model, you can support more university with, like last year, they got 5,000 students. Again, it's 108 professors. Yeah? And so it's not possible. So we were trying to think outside the box. How do we support the university?
So how will the same issue underfunding at IBC? So what strategies would you think that you can implement at IBC to address the same issues of underfunding?
You negotiate with the parliament so that you can increase funding, bilateral or other agencies, so that you can increase the funding, endowment fund, and so on, because IEBC plays a very critical role. And if you look at some of the challenges like voter education and so on, there has to be a good budget to look into those challenges. So I believe once we sit down as a commission, the commissioners, it is possible to look into, we are getting this funding. Our budget projection is like this. So how do we meet the shortfall?
How can your experience and your membership, now that you are chairing the Welfare Association, can those skills be of any help to the Commission? Your past experience as a member of Parliament, can it be of any value to IEBC?
They can. I said it's a welfare. It's a welfare group which we started 2018. And I feel sad because of my colleagues, those people who have gone through Parliament. And I keep on asking myself, is Parliament a career-destroying institution? Because there's nothing to admire in most of those, my colleagues.
No, you've not gotten my question. I'm saying, can your past, that is having been a member of Parliament, be of any value to IBC, you being at IBC and as a commissioner?
Yes, it can, because like when I talk about through my experiences, 2013, 2017, injustice and so on, and when those problems come for dispute resolution and so on, so I know, I have a feel. Yeah? When I've been the chairman of Institutional Surveyors of Kenya, I helped raise the profile of that institution from basically nowhere to where it is today. Yeah? So when I was in Mangu, I assisted the school to go up to position number 1 in 2007 nationally. Yeah? So it is possible that through those institutions, I can offer leadership.
And in terms of funding, how can your membership to Parliament help in enhancing funding at IBC?
Some of those are my colleagues, or what have you. It is possible, having worked there, to know how to lobby. And Parliament is the budget-making institution, so it is possible to lobby. These days, everything you lobby. So I would play a very important role in lobbying.
That's what I wanted to hear from you, saying that I will lobby my former colleagues. Back to you, Chair. Wish you well.
Okay.
Thank you. Bwana Misati, you want to ask some questions, please?
Thank you so much. Chair, Mheshimiwa Njuguna.
Yes.
Please let me take you back to where you were, because I sit as the chair of the Political Parties Liaison Committee. We have had these problems over and over again. But the disadvantage we have is that even us as political parties, we criticize IEBC. when they do wrong or when we perceive that they have not been fair. In line with that, the issues of party primaries. But you see, they have the advantage of regulating the party primaries, nomination of regulation rules. They're the ones who regulate them. So, from where you sit, we have had other candidates who have come before you, and they really hate that day. Lucky you, at least you went to another party and got. There are people who hate that to their core. What do you attribute to this issue that our elections is a matter of life and death? Really, why should somebody, that process alone?
Misati?
Yes.
You know, I'm a proud product of education. All those papers you see there. And I believe exams in this country is the only way, as of merit, you get it. Yeah? Elsewhere, there is a lot of other considerations. Like now, I am giving you an example of 2013. And you see, you are saying transparency, accountability, good governance. So how are you going to deliver transparency and accountability if the process is fraud? So, not that I have an answer, but you're also saying, from where you sit, this is a problem that you arrived to. It's a problem, it's a headache, even from where you sit. And you see, once the problem is identified, because the IEBC is all about delivering transparency and accountability in the electoral process. Okay? And I am pushing my case that if we don't deliver transparency and accountability at party primaries, you all along condemn IEBC. Public trust starts from party primaries.
Good, I hear you.
Yes.
Now let's go to the issue of currently the registrar of political parties, as regulator of the political parties, is drafting the party ideology.
Okay.
Do you think, as where we are as a country, we can be able to adopt the culture of party ideology, which maybe might be able to solve part of the problems we have in party primaries? Because you see, from where I sit, when you are campaigning, whether it's in that party primaries, if you have a T-shirt and you give a supporter, after you have left a few minutes, another person comes and gives another T-shirt, they will not say no. They will still wear it. So the issue of party ideology and the belief, where are we on it?
Do we have a party ideology in this country? Mr. Misati? If you take it that 2013, we had ODM and we had TNA. 2017, Jubilee. 2022, you have UDA, ODM, and other parties. From where I sit, these parties revolve around personalities. And so, in personalities, we have to work very hard if we have ever to deliver party ideology, the likes of Conservative Party in UK and what have you. So, once that personality is not there, then the party dies in this country. So we have to work hard to make sure that at least we develop party ideology. I hear you, but I'm also telling you, from where I sit, I don't think there's party ideology in this country, just about personalities.
The last question. We came from, before the enactment of the Political Parties Act, the political parties were being registered under the Societies Act. What were the main reasons why we went to the Act, according to you?
Of course, Misati, an improvement from the then Societies Act. And law being dynamic. Like now, there are challenges IEBC is facing, there are challenges that political parties are facing, and so on. So there is always a chance to revisit the law and improve on those challenges. So the reason why we moved from the Societies Act to Political Parties Act and so on was to cure the problems that we had yes. And now, from where we are saying, we are not yet through. Because I'm offering myself, I suffered. And I don't know what you do if you are in my position. And you know, in Gatanga at the time, everybody, and it's very difficult to vote in everybody from a particular party and come to you and vote you from another party. It's swimming upstream. I went through a very nasty experience.
Thanks so much. I wish you'll heal and get over the process, as that is the politics. Thanks so much. Over to you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Fatuma Saman, please ask some questions. Thank you.
Dr. Njuguna,
Yes.
for purposes of carrying out its work, IEBC must engage stakeholders.
Yes.
And these stakeholders include government, other government organs.
Yes.
The judiciary,
Yes.
the security,
Yes.
legislature,
Yes.
the executive as well. Please share with us some insights on how you would manage these relationships if you become a commissioner at IEBC. How will you manage those relationships and ensure that IEBC also maintains its independence while doing that?
Okay. Fatuma,
Yes.
thank you, because you agree that IEBC is dependent, only subject to the law. And that's why even the commissioners have a secure term limit so that you keep to your lane. But that does not mean that you don't collaborate with other institutions like the media, parliament, judiciary, political parties, NGOs, and so on, particularly on certain issues. And you see, engagement can mean public participation, which is one of the core values in Article 10 on national values and principles. So it is important to engage these bodies because they will assist you achieve your mandate. Like we agree, as we are talking, there's serious public deficit on trust on IEBC, whether true or not. Yeah? And how else can you be able to deal with this public deficit on trust unless you engage community leaders, religious churches, and so on, NGOs, and such institutions, our youth at the universities, and so on. Because there's a lot of apathy on the youth on matters of voting and so on, those marginalized areas. Yeah. So it is very important that, from where I sit, I appreciate what engagement with all those stakeholders, what they can be able to deliver in terms of IEBC fulfilling its mandate.
In this engagement, what is the main principle? What is the key principle? When you are in an engagement that does not compromise your independence as an institution, but is also helpful and supportive of the work that you are doing. What is the key principle?
This is public engagement, public education.
Now we are specific to the state actors, yeah? Yeah, these state organs.
You are appreciating that there is what parliament can deliver. You are appreciating that there is what judiciary can deliver. You are appreciating there is what NGOs can deliver. Yeah? So it's good to appreciate that all these institutions that you are going to engage, there is something they can deliver, yeah? In terms of you assisting you achieve your mandate. Yes.
Does openness support that?
Yes.
The principle of
Transparency.
openness and transparency?
Transparency, accountability. Yeah, it's very, very important. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Invite Nicodemus Bore, please. Bore.
Mheshimiwa,
Yes.
you have previously served as a member of parliament for Gatanga.
Yes.
And also you have mentioned in your previous engagement with our panelists that among the problems IEBC is facing is public trust.
Yes.
So given a chance as a member of the commission, with this in your hindsight, what will you do to ensure that Kenyans trust the election results being conducted by your commission?
I've been thinking about public trust, and I've been thinking about IEBC. And my honest opinion, Nicodemus, is that there's a lot that our IEBC has achieved in terms of delivering transparency and accountability, and even the institution of IEBC. It's not where we were in 2013, yeah? Even delivering the technology, equipment, and so on. Now we can talk about biometric result transmission and so on. There's a lot that we have achieved. Even as we condemn IEBC, it's very important that we appreciate. Yeah? And perhaps this public trust or trust deficit could be perhaps nothing much has been done on voter education, where everybody appreciates why you need free and fair elections, why you need to participate, particularly among the youth, because I have a problem with the youth. And my problem with the youth, Nicodemus, is perhaps the people who don't vote are the young who are educated, left university, have left institutions. It's not the normal youth in the rural areas. And how come they don't vote? Perhaps they feel that we are not going to change anything. There's unemployment, there are all those things. So, but they need to know, if you don't encourage transparency and accountability in matters of governance, you are also a letdown to enhancement of democracy. So it is very, very important that, Nicodemus, that IEBC is involved in voter education through social media, through mainstream media, through other forums like print media, churches, schools, and so on, like those far areas, marginalized areas, even come up with mobile kind of communication so that you are able to reach out to those people who might not even know what is happening. We have a duty as IEBC, and it can be done.
Thank you, Mheshimiwa, and all the best.
Okay.
Okay, I invite Professor Adam Solo to ask you some questions, please.
Mheshimiwa,
Yes, please.
I've seen a very frustrated Mheshimiwa.
Okay.
And what has perturbed me, even as you express your frustration, is the lack of clarity of what solution you'll be bringing.
Okay.
I say that, I'm not sure if it is Ambassador Koki who asked you, that you suffered the fate you suffered in 2013, and by the grace of your character that your constituents saw in you, they still made you a member of parliament.
Yes.
And you went to the institution that makes laws and policies. Yet you didn't use that opportunity to make laws and policies that would protect people who have undergone the same thing that you have gone. She kept on looking for why. I didn't hear you really explain what attempts you made while in parliament to redress the situation, which 12 years later is still very painful to you. Any attempts you made in parliament and the majority had their way and you had your say, for example? Did you make any? Did you caucus? Because I can also see you are the chairman of the former
Members of Parliament.
Members of Parliament, which means you have a forum in which you deliberate over these issues.
On welfare.
Or on welfare.
It's just welfare. What happens? It's like we are old boys and old girls of Parliament.
Okay. And let's leave that aside. Here you are. You have made it to Parliament against the odds of what, in your opinion, the way I've heard you, needs curing. And you are in the law-making institution, the only lawmaking institution.
Okay.
What did you do to redress that?
Professor Aro, first of all, I would like to say this is a good forum for me to express how I feel. And perhaps it's a good institution if I ever get the chance to address the mischief. So all is not lost. And I'd like to tell you, Professor, that I'm not bitter as such. In fact, I train our former members because they all have most of them have a very bad heading. It's good you prepare alternative A, B, C, and D. So I'm back to my private practice, my consultancy, and so on, and life continues. In 2015, there was an attempt to force us into Jubilee at the time. And I was very vocal myself, because Article 4 of the Constitution is Kenya is a multi-party democracy. And the framers of the Constitution were very clear why Kenya is a multi-party democracy. So they want to lump you together. So I said no, and perhaps that costed me my 2017, because I was seen like a hard nut to crack. And since I told you there is no party ideology, so they want to put everybody together and you sing their song, so I refuse to sing. That's a kind of protest, and so on. So, as at now, yes, Professor, from where you sit, you might see one or two misgivings, but if I'll get this chance, this is a very good forum where I can be able to help institute some of those reforms so that it will be at everybody's comfort.
Thank you very much. Again, when you talked of your friend, you talked of the call which came.
Yes.
And you gave in to the call. And you are asked that where you intend to go, where you want this panel to take you. Those calls are even heavier. And I heard your answer was that in IEBC, I have the cloth of the Constitution, which gives me independence. Let's for a minute assume that you will live by that word of independence. And you find that out in that, this is hypothetical.
Yes.
You find that among the commissioners and the chair, the calls are coming, and it's only Mheshimiwa Humphrey who are stuck to the independence, and the rest, just like you cringed under the call which came, the rest cringed, and you remain alone, and there's quorum and everything. How will you deal with that?
Professor, I think you picked on, but let me say this.
Yes.
This panel, you have a solemn duty to uphold free and fair elections. And I believe you come up with a team that will not let down Kenyans. Okay. Your duty, once you do that, then our duty, if you look at the Constitution, is to protect the sovereign. Okay. And at all times, we are doing a public duty.
Thank you very much. And my last question. You are in IEBC. Sales sticking by how you will handle threats or undue influence. What would you do if you are pressured or threatened to amend party lists after the prescribed period? Because we know it has happened before.
Mine, as a commissioner, is a solemn duty to the people of Kenya. And you see, my tenure is protected as per the Constitution, unless through other things like gross misconduct or contravention of Chapter 6 of the Constitution and so on, my tenure is protected. So for me, as I take oath, if ever I am given a chance, I'm taking an oath to protect the Constitution, the rule of law, as far as free and fair elections are concerned. So there's no way I'm going to give in to political manipulation or any other pressure from, and you always try, because you must engage them, but let them know from where you are coming from. If these people who want people employed, and let them know whatever where you are operating, where you are operating, and remain faithful. Your duty is to the people of Kenya, the 50 plus million people. Yeah? And to be very bad if you betray that trust. Professor.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Which means the term of a member of parliament protected?
Yeah, come again?
Is the tenure of an MP protected?
5 years. It's protected by there's a recall clause. There's a recall clause, which is very difficult to implement because you must get 30% voters to. It is there, but it's very, very difficult. Unlike perhaps Senate, where I have seen a lot of political maneuvers and so on, but I've never seen an MP being recalled. Both the process is there, but it's very cumbersome.
Thank you. Professor?
Mheshimiwa, this is where we go to the general and where is within your domain, and I've seen you really quoting the Constitution on particular issues. What is the total number of special interest seats in the Senate?
Total.
What is the total number of special interest seats in the Senate? In other words, the senators who sit there outside the 47 who are elected from the counties directly.
If I'm not wrong, you have 16. Then you have 2 on disability, and then you have 2 on youth. So that will be 16, 18, 20.
Thank you. My last question, which is historical, again, based on your interest in politics. When did Kenya become a one-party state by law, and what necessitated the decision?
1982, if I correct my memory properly.
Just go ahead.
What necessitated it? Of course, the control. Before that, all along, it was, you could have parties and so on. But 1982, if I correct my memory well, then that is it, a one-party state. A one-party state, Kano, at the time. Before the whole thing was repealed 1992.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Dr. Ncigunah. It's been a great pleasure talking to you and just understanding where you are in terms of your interest to become a commissioner. And we have learned a lot actually from your experience. I don't know whether you have any question or comment to make to this panel.
Chair, I can only appreciate you and tell you that you have a solemn duty. Even as you sit here, I know Kenyans are watching, and perhaps what the IEBC will be, you depend on what you're going to come up with. So I happen to be one of those people. I will not let Kenyans down. I'm going to work very hard and make sure that there is free and fair elections and address issues of public trust deficit. And I think there's a lot that IEBC has achieved, but perhaps most of it has not come to the public domain. So, but if I get a chance, I'll do my best.
Thank you very much for the promise, and we wish you well. Do pick your certificates at the door, and the notebook is yours. You can pick it, and the pen. Blessings to you. Wish you well.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I always hear about Professor Alo. I've never met you. It's only that, unfortunately, I'm meeting you when you are greeting me. And Kokimori. Thank you so much. Yes.